All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're breaking down the business case for Elosia Shield. This is a platform designed to tackle one of the biggest risks in business today, AI, and actually turn it into a major competitive advantage.
Here's a quick look at what we're going to cover. We'll start with the problem, this thing called the AI governance gap. Then we'll introduce Elosia Shield as the answer, get into its prevention-first tech, check out the market opportunity, and wrap up with the vision of the architect who put it all together.
So, first things first, we need to understand the core problem. Why is everyone suddenly talking about AI governance? And why is it so critical right now?
This is the question every executive, every board member should be asking themselves. AI isn't some side project in a lab anymore. It's becoming a core part of how businesses run. And as it scales up, it's creating this whole new world of risk that, frankly, most companies are just not ready to handle.
And if you think this is a small niche issue, think again. The market just for solving this problem is expected to be worth $2.7 billion. So this isn't just about avoiding risk. It's a huge, and I mean huge, market opportunity that's growing incredibly fast.
And here's the heart of it, this massive gap. AI adoption is just exploding. It's moving way faster than our ability to build guardrails for it. It's kind of like everyone's building race cars, but they've completely forgotten about the brakes and seatbelts. Companies are rolling out these powerful AI tools without the basic frameworks to control them.
Okay, so that's the problem. It's big and it's a little scary. So what's the solution? Well, that brings us to Elosia Shield. The big idea here is a total shift in how we think about governance. For years, governance has been this reactive, box-ticking chore you do after something goes wrong. Elosia Shield flips that on its head. It frames governance as a proactive strategy, a way to move faster and innovate more safely than your competition because the controls are baked in from the very start. This slide just nails the difference. On the left, you've got the old way. Documentation first. It's all about policies sitting on a shelf and reports that tell you what went wrong yesterday. But on the right, you've got the Elosia Shield way. Control first. It's purpose-built for the speed of AI, focusing on real-time preventative controls that stop bad things from happening in the first place. Now, to be super clear, it's really important to understand what Elosia Shield is not. It's not your auditor, it's not your lawyer, it doesn't replace those critical roles. Think of it as the foundational layer underneath them. It provides the rock-solid, verifiable proof, the technical controls and the evidence that your auditors and lawyers need to do their job. So that all sounds great in theory, right? But how does it actually deliver on this promise of control first? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and look at the technology that makes it all possible. Okay, this first piece is absolutely brilliant because it solves the #1 barrier to adopting new tech, friction. It's called the workflow proxy. Instead of some massive 6-month engineering project, you can bring an entire AI workflow under governance by changing a single URL. We're talking a 5-minute change. No code rewrites needed. It's that simple. Next up is the micromanager. The best way to think about this is like a bouncer at a club for your AI tools. Before an AI agent can do anything, like access a database or use an API, it has to ask the micromanager for permission. The micromanager checks the request against the rules and gives a simple yes or no answer before anything happens. This is how you prevent runaway agents and unauthorized actions. And here's how that plays out step by step. The AI makes a request. Step 1, the micromanager checks it against the policies. Step 2, it sees a violation and denies it. Step 3, because it was denied, the action is never performed. And Step 4, the most important one, there's no damage. The risk is completely neutralized. It never even happened. And finally, we have the Shield Memory Kernel, or SMK. So if the micromanager is the bouncer, the SMK is like a court reporter and a tamper-proof security camera all rolled into one. It creates a cryptographically verified permanent record of every single decision the AI makes. This gives you that unchangeable, tamper-evident audit trail that is so critical when regulators come knocking. Okay, so the technology is really impressive, but does it make business sense? Let's zoom back out and talk about the market, the ideal customers, and the strategic value this all creates. When you stack Elosia Shield up against the competition, the difference is pretty stark. You have the legacy players who are documentation first, not control first. They're old-school GRC tools trying to adapt to AI. And then you have the idea of building it yourself, which is a huge drain on resources and very hard to defend in an audit. Elosia Shield is purpose-built, and that makes all the difference. This chart really visualizes that classic build versus buy decision. You could try to build a governance platform yourself, but it's going to be slow, super expensive, and you're taking on all the risk of getting it wrong. The argument for Elosia Shield is that it's a lower total cost of ownership, it's ready to go almost immediately, and you're transferring that risk to a specialized, defensible platform.
And they know exactly who this is for. They aren't targeting companies just dipping their toes in the water. The ideal customer is already feeling the pain of scaling AI. They're in regulated industries like finance or healthcare. And usually there's a specific trigger event, a new regulation, a mandate from the board, or maybe even a recent incident that's got everyone's attention.
To wrap things up, let's talk about the philosophy behind the platform, because the why it was built is just as important as the what it does.
I really like this quote from the founder, Gary Phillips. It gets right to the point. This isn't about building another complex, confusing security tool. The whole goal is transparency, measurement, and operational logic. It's a system designed to actually make sense to the people who have to use it every day.
And this might be the key to the whole story. The platform wasn't built by someone from the traditional cybersecurity world. It was designed from scratch by someone with decades of experience in operational systems and risk analysis. That outsider perspective is what allowed him to see the gaps that others missed and solve the problem in a completely new way.
And that brings us to the final question, the one that really matters. AI is making the leap from the lab to the very core of your business. So the challenge is simple. Is your governance strategy just built to keep up and react? Or is it built to let you lead?